Thanks, Kara. So as Kara said, guys, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk through a relatively new feature in the Jazz platform called the Jazz Reporting Service. It's really the intention of this. Hopefully most of you guys have heard of this, but the intention of this is just to help our customers run reports, mine data, pull data out, and use it in some reasonable fashion. So today where we're going to sort of spend a few minutes of our time is talking about sort of the old ways we used to do this, using things like Insight and RDI, using CSV exports from queries from different tools, and even using the custom API, REST, OSLC, or Java to pull data dynamically and analyze it that way. Those ways worked. They had some good things and some bad things that they did. Essentially what Jazz Reporting Service did is take lessons learned from the approaches above and sort of create a better mousetrap, for lack of a better term. So using Jazz Reporting Service, we can do cross-tool traceability queries, statistical graphs in more than just 2 dimensions, Excel exports using what Excel calls live query, which we'll see today. Then we can also easily add reports to your dashboards, and there's a few things we'll talk about at the end that we can expect in a future release coming hopefully sometime this summer. So as Kara said, as I'm going through the presentation today, feel free to ask questions in the question box, and we'll address those as sort of towards the end of the session today. But please, any questions or issues that you might have, please bring those up in that question box so we can try to get them addressed. So Insight and RDI essentially were very good tools for mining data, doing calculations, and customizing essentially out-of-the-box reports to create graphical charts. So they did those things very well. Where RDI and Insight kind of had some difficulties was that it was relatively difficult and expensive to install. I had a couple of customers try it, and basically after spending a few weeks trying to get the install completed and the configuration to mine data from the data warehouse complete, frankly they just gave up. They said it was too expensive, we'll just use the API. In addition to that, it was just complicated and difficult even after install to edit and customize the reports. So you kind of needed someone who really understood how the data warehouse was organized and really understood how RDI and Insight would mine data from the data warehouse to be able to do that. And that was not typically somebody that would typically run reports in most of our customers' organizations. So most of our customers have kind of like a business person running a report, not necessarily an engineer who wants to manage a data warehouse and manage SQL queries and stuff. They just want to be able to go pull a couple of fields and create a chart. And for those folks, it was very difficult to edit these RDI queries. In addition to that, what a lot of customers did is actually use CSV exports. So they would export a couple of different queries from RTC, maybe export a couple of things from Doors Next Generation or from RQM, and sort of in Excel, after they've pulled all these different CSV things together, use that to create this kind of traceability report. It was very manual, very error prone, and frankly running Excel macros to do a bunch of mapping and traceability queries just was difficult, right? So the pros are any user can export, anyone who can run a query can export it to CSV,